Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our podcast. I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome.
We're so excited and we're ready for your hot takes. I just know you're going to have some really good insight on this stuff.
I'm also excited. My husband watched this with me and I was like, babe, hot. He's like, really?
Hot.
I'm like, hot.
Welcome back to From Mrs. to Ms. So before I introduce our guest that is here with us today, I just want to remind you that last week, Ozzy and I had a conversation that sparked a lot of opinions and thoughts from us, but also from the listeners out there. We talked about the hit show that's on Amazon Prime right now called Off Campus. It doesn't sound like the steamy sex show, but it is. It is, right? And it was happening on campus, let me say that. So we did not actually review the show or recap it, but we just unpacked the relationship dynamics. We unpacked the chemistry, the communication, and all the choices that has had everyone talking about this show. And so after we wrapped the show, I kept thinking, oh my God, I'd love to know what Taylor Carr would have to say about all of this. Now, if you guys have not seen Taylor or heard her on my show before, she was on just a few weeks ago. Her and I had such a stellar conversation about love, relationships, dating. She listed out like how to get your profile right. She's a master at that. She talked about how she's dated 5 different guys at the same time. That story, that went crazy. Everybody was wanting to hear about that. It is so good. And she has so many nuggets that I'm hoping she's going to drop a lot more for you guys today. So your first homework is to go back and listen to that show and you will get full insight on exactly who Taylor is. And then come watch, then go watch Ozzy and I last week if you haven't. Then watch this week with the 3 of us because we're going to talk about Off Campus again. Again, not recapping it, just kind of going through what Ozzy and I thought about the show, our perspective, and from like a different era, like a different age. We're in a different age bracket than Taylor is. So we thought it would be great to have Taylor here just to give us her insight and all that good stuff. She has such a gift for seeing the deeper patterns beneath the relationships, the attraction, the self-worth, and the emotional safety. So we are excited to throw some of these moments at her and see where the conversation goes. Taylor, I guess I should say hi. Hi.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our podcast. I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome.
We're so excited and we're ready for your hot takes. I just know you're going to have some really good insight on this stuff. You see things so clearly, and I love that. So
I'm fascinated to hear what you guys think. I really cannot wait to see what you guys said because I haven't been able to hear your episode yet.
Yes.
So this is going to be so interesting. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yes, this is great because you are coming in blind on this. So this is going to be your true thoughts and intakes on it because you haven't heard anything that we've had to say. So that's very good. And I loved when I reached out to you. You're like, oh yeah, I totally watched this show. So I'm ready to go. Like, perfect.
So, who hasn't at this point? I just want to know. Who is not tuned
Somebody
in?
I saw yesterday, I just said, have you watched that? And they were like, no. And everybody around me was like, oh my God. And people our age, So it's for everybody. It's for everybody.
Well, I was talking about it today with my son and his friend. They've not heard about this show. They've not seen the show. And so it'd be interesting. I was trying to explain it to him. I don't think I was making much sense other than, Mom, stop talking about that way.
Did they feel like lured in by what you were saying? Even like the hockey, did that lure them in or more the sex scenes?
No.
The hot people.
Mm-mm.
No, none of it.
No, they just wanted me to stop talking.
Okay. So we'll talk on here instead.
Yes.
All right. So yes. So for those of you who haven't seen it, you really want to watch Off Campus. It's on Amazon Prime. It's just basically a college show of really hot guys, really hot girls, and how they get together. They address a lot of topics through this show. They address sexual assault. They talk about physical abuse. They talk about, what did we say? Double masturbating. I mean, we did that on there. That's what we said. It is coming into their bodies, their sexuality. I mean, there was so much to touch on. And we also mentioned that they are going to be going into the next season that's already coming out, and they're pulling two of the main characters, which was I'm trying to think of what I know their real name is Mika. I can't think of their names off the hook. That the other couple, Dean
Dean and
and
Allie.
Allie. Thank
Uh-huh.
you, Dean and Allie, and that's going to be the focus of the next season. So how cool for them, first of all, but really neat for us to see that. So I'm excited about that. All right, we're going to jump in. So Ozzy and I both had pretty strong first reactions after watching this. She actually reached out to me and she's like, "Oh my God, you have got to watch this show." And I told her at first, I was not like all in on it. I was like, I don't know. But then it hooked me when they decided to move forward with the little experiment they were doing where she was going to, do his homework and help him with his studying and everything. And he was going to help her get the other guy. Now, Taylor, did you like this show right off the bat? Were you sold from like the moment it started, or did it take a little bit?
I had a recommendation to watch it. Thank God. My astrologer is such a girly pop because I'm not a big TV person. So she keeps me
Oh,
plugged in to the things that I have to watch. She's like, dating relationship, this is for you. You have to watch it. So I already
perfect.
came in like, I'm going to like this because she knows I'm going
Yeah.
to like this. With that said, it didn't take me very long to be
Mhm.
very appreciative of this show. I really, really liked it.
Yeah. And did you feel like there was so many things that you could touch base on within your own stuff you're doing? Because you teach this stuff all the time. Or was there things that you were like, that's what I would have done. That's what I would have said.
I think watching it, I sort of turned off my dating relationship expert lens and I watched it as a girl who loves love.
Ah.
And I let myself be a girl who loves love because the thing about this show that I particularly adore is that it feels like millennials. It feels like it
Hmm.
was written in the 2010s because from what I've heard, it was. It doesn't feel
Really?
like
Yeah.
Gen Z dating culture where we care less. It feels like people are really connecting. They're not on their phones as much. They're having vulnerable
Yeah.
conversations. Even our like quote unquote douchebag guys of the show are heart centered and honest and vulnerable. And so I
Mm.
was just loving feeling like I was maybe a 25-year-old girl again watching this show that makes me
Yeah.
believe in love.
Yeah. Do you
Yes.
remember the
Wow.
movie 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yes.
It kind of has that flavor, right?
Yeah. I thought
Exactly.
it also had the Can't Buy Me Love I mentioned because they kind of did that to help him become cool, and then they fell
Right.
in love on that one.
Mhm.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that. It was done back in 2010, and now looking at it, we really didn't see them on their phones and doing all of that stuff throughout the entire show. There was so much more to it, right? Like they were actually hanging out and having a good time and doing stuff. I don't remember seeing anybody really like that all
The
that
only
much.
time that we really saw them on their phones was when he was researching her to get to know who she was before approaching her. And
Yep.
then the night after the birthday parties when they're on the floor on each side of the bed sending
Yeah.
each other reels, but they're
Oh.
like animal reels being cute. They're not doom scrolling.
Right.
Yes, and totally ignoring each other. They were doing it
Yeah.
together, which
Yeah.
was so cute. Now, what did you think of I gotta hear what you thought of these guys and these girls. Now, you're newly married, so we're gonna go a little easy here. Ozzy and I are single, so we get a little excited.
Oh, girl, I'm also excited. My husband watched this
You're
with me
excited.
and I was like, babe, hot. He's like, really?
Hot.
I'm like, hot.
Hot.
Now, did
Take
he think
notes.
any of the girls were hot, though? I
I
thought the
mean,
guys were hotter than the girls. I will say that.
he's so cute. He goes, "What do you mean there's no hot girls anywhere in this whole world?" And he just sticks to this.
I
So I
love
don't know
that.
how he
Oh,
actually feels, except for the fact that he
cute.
thought Allie looked like Miley Cyrus and he couldn't drop it, and I just disagreed. But that's all
Yeah.
I got from him.
I don't see that.
I don't either.
No. She's such a
I don't
she's
see
such a
that.
cutie.
Mm,
Yeah, she's such a cutie.
yeah.
But yeah, the guys were I thought if I had to take no, I say if I had to take my pick, but let me just tell you, I've seen a lot of like talk shows with each of them on there, and they are so good looking, like off camera even, like really good looking. And
Mhm.
I'm like, wow. Like sometimes you just think they do them up so good and it's on TV. We're like, oh, they look so good. They look good. But I like Garrett. Garrett's my choice.
I want to.
My thing about these guys is I have such a like I love good men lens that I
Hmm.
love their characters so much.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
see them in their Gen Z clothes, and I see them kind of just, like, being Gen Z boys on this, like, interviews and stuff, and they're fine.
Yeah.
I'm less
Yeah.
attracted to them, but I will say my top pick, even though I could really go for any of them, is John Logan.
Oh,
Mm.
he's the brother, or kinda like a brother to him, right? Like the
Yeah, he's his
friend?
best
Yeah.
friend, and he's Jules's brother, and he's the handyman
Yeah.
around town, and he's fixing
Yeah.
everything, and he's the backbone behind the healthy masculinity in the show in a lot of ways. He's the one
Yeah.
who is trying to get Garrett to open up. He's the
Mhm.
one who's like,
Mhm.
"You don't know Hannah? You don't she's been serving us a long time." He is thoughtful. He is
Yes.
witnessing. He doesn't miss
Mhm.
things. He's the one who hears, "Oh, Hannah doesn't drink in public. Give her this closed can. It's safer,"
Ye
without over explaining it and trying to make himself the, like,
Yeah.
more educated on women one. He's the one who is consistently grabbing Garrett and calling him forward. Does he do some
Mhm.
shady things in the show as far as, like, young boy stuff? Sure, he calls his dad behind his back, but Garrett
Yeah.
never let him in on how painful it truly was, so how could he have known? He thought he was
Right.
being healing. So this
Mhm.
is a man
Yeah.
who's consistently stepping forward, putting his own
Mm.
feelings aside and going, "How can I call my brothers up?" That's what's most important.
Yeah,
Great, great point.
he felt like the backbone, right?
Yeah.
My question to you was actually you just answered it because it was I wanted to hear your lens from the lens of the archetype or which one you felt was the healthy masculine, which one you felt was the unhealthy masculine, and same for the feminine. So I want to hear
Mm.
more around that and what your take was on the characters.
They're all so different, and I'm actually really proud of the way that they're written. I didn't see a lot of
Mm.
unhealthy masculinity, not like we can see it in today's world. I saw regular, like, unhealthy masculinity from a college lens of, like, again, 2016, which is very different than
Yeah.
now. Like,
Uh-huh.
even Dean De Laurentiis, who has
Yes.
a soft place in my heart. I actually love Dean De Laurentiis
Mm.
because he is the classic playboy archetype with heart and
Totally.
soul because he actually likes women. So even in these
Yeah.
locker room conversations, he doesn't say, "Dude, you just gotta bend her over and you gotta do this." He goes, "Dude, you gotta
Mhm.
make her feel safe. Women open up when they feel
Mm.
safe." So even as this playboy that all the women know is sleeping with everybody, he makes every single woman feel seen, held, cherished, and
Yeah.
he's completely honest about who he is.
Yeah, I
I
felt
love
pretty
that.
drawn to I got childish vibes from him at first
Sure.
though. I felt like he
I
was boyish, right? He was like a boy. But then they turned around when he and Allie got together and then I was so drawn in. I was so captivated by him. Masculine we all love, right? Like the caring
Mhm.
and the like he cared more than he shows that he cares. I thought
Mhm.
that
Yes.
was really great.
So
And he
good.
is
Oh
a
my god, I have
boy.
some questions.
He
He's
is a
Yes.
boy.
22
He's a
years
boy.
old, and
Right.
and he's like the hot man on campus and he can get any woman, and
Mhm.
like I think it's an interesting way to show us that trope can have bad behavior
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
still be heart led, whereas I think in the real world, this is what we call a corrective experience, right? This show, and we'll get into that in a second. But in this show, we made that guy loving anyway. Whereas in real
Mhm.
life, the men who have a lot of access to a lot of women don't have as much access to their heart. And I just found that was an interesting choice.
Mm.
Mm.
That's great.
They don't have access to their own heart, you mean?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm.
So they use their ability to get any girl they want as a mask to
Yes.
not get close to anyone.
I think personally, I believe based off of all the research I've done and even the science of the way that our bodies fire hormones in relationship and dating, I think that when a man has a lot of options and he can kind of get any woman he wants, these are the guys who behave really poorly and they don't treat women as this beautiful prize to take care of. They treat them like, well, if it's not you, it's going to be someone else because I have this much access. I think
Mhm.
men who have a lot of access to the feminine are not as connected to their healthy
Correct.
masculinity, just based off of everything that I've seen. Whereas
Mhm.
men who have less access tend to revere the feminine a bit more. They take it a bit more seriously.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, I love that.
I have a question for you, Taylor. So, I have actually two, and I want to go back to the other one after. But since we're on Dean, did you even see that coming with him and Allie? And why do you think he kind of saw her now? Like he didn't see her all of this time. She's been there, she's been around, but now all of a sudden, he kind of sees her. And then, of course, as it goes on, you can tell by her personality and the way she is, you're drawn to her, right? Like she's just such a neat character. And so I get why, as it went on, he was like, "Oh, this girl's got it, like the it factor, right? What I'm looking for. But what do you think drew him to her in the first place, other than that hot dress, the Jennifer Lopez dress that she was dancing in,
Damn.
right?
Good lord, that
Why didn't
woman
he
is
see her
gorgeous.
before?
Yeah.
Oh my god, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Whew, yeah. Well, there's a couple things here, right? Before she was a theater girl, and theater girls and jocks don't really mesh. I was a theater girl too, and I was a
Mm.
beautiful theater girl, but I wasn't in that realm. We didn't really talk, like we'd pass each other. It didn't, it's
Yeah.
not our world, and she's not interested in that world. She has a boyfriend. Her energy's closed. He
Yes.
witnessed her in a moment of full freedom.
Mm.
And as Dean De
Yes.
Laurentiis does, he knows I'm hot shit. I can approach this woman and I can have her. And she said, just because you approach me doesn't mean you can have me. I'm not available for this. I'm not into jocks. I have my own boyfriend. I have my own
Mhm.
life, my own thing going on. But
Yep.
she was open. She was in her body. She was enjoying
Mhm.
herself.
Yeah.
She was embodying a level of freedom that most women struggle to embody when there are other women around, when there's guys
Mhm.
around, when there's alcohol, all these things. And like, can I really take up all the space and enjoy myself
Mhm.
this much in a room where nobody else is? And
Mhm.
she took that opportunity because her boyfriend walked out to go get his Boston Cup and to be Ben Affleck.
Wouldn't
And
have
she
walked.
said, this is my moment to go dance. I'm just going to do it real quick. So he witnessed
Mhm.
Yeah.
her in herself, not moving towards him. And her no
Yeah.
was very important.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, she
Yes.
was very magnetic,
Very.
and he was drawn to that freedom and that magnetizing energy. And then also, I think there was that sense of, I want what I can't have, right? There was
Yes.
that chase of that, unattainable. I love that he accessed courage to go after it anyway, because I think that's where a lot of today's men tend to falter. They see the
Yeah.
freedom, they might want it, but they don't feel that strength to just to go out. It's the risk taking, right? We're missing a
Mhm.
lot of men taking risks, whereas, as you mentioned, 2010, men would take more risks to approach a woman,
Mhm.
whereas today men are not
They
taking
don't
that
have
risk.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also
Yeah.
men now can see a woman in that freedom and also want to obtain it and control it. And I have seen that that has really become more
Mm.
popular as well. And so their dynamic is really important where it's like the guy who can have any woman he wants is told no, but then they actually have a true connection moment of I'm not available. You've got chicks in the house. Let's sit by this fireplace and just have a conversation like humans. And he saw her as a human who wasn't available, so he got to listen. And because she
Mhm.
wasn't available, he got to drop into his vulnerability as well. That's part of why their connection is so special, is because it's
Mm.
not just two hot people talking, it's two unavailable people, or mostly her unavailable, and him emotionally unavailable, just connecting over heart. And she's not interested in his status. She's not interested in his popularity, his hockey score. She doesn't care about that. She cares
Mhm.
about not receiving bullshit, and she makes that
Yeah.
very clear, and because of that, he feels safe to be himself with her, which is different.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I feel like they made her boyfriend in the show so polar opposite of him, of Dean. The boyfriend just seemed more a little bit like a computer nerd, just really more of who maybe she thought she was, but now she's really finding out who she is. And I thought that was a really interesting way that they developed that because it allowed us to see her in one way with the boyfriend, very vulnerable, very meek almost, like she just didn't know how to be. And she still showed a little bit of that throughout with Dean. There were moments where she's like very out there. I love the scene when they were. I think they were in a house or his place. No, I think they were at his place and they were by the window and they started having this scene and she put her foot up on him and just kind of kept him at bay. And I was like, girl, oh my God, I got to learn that move. And so I love that she was coming out of her shell as she was doing this and discovering this whole different side. I could never see her doing that with the other boyfriend they had, the guy that they had for her. So I liked how they did that. It was really neat, very black and white. I
It's a
liked
Yeah,
it.
because
great example of the guy that you think is safe, not actually being
Yes.
safe, and I think the casting was fantastic because
Mhm.
he looks like a really nice guy, and he talks
Yeah.
like a really nice guy, he's got a lot going on for him, but the
He's,
undercurrent is this little passion you have is little, and I would like for it to stay little, and I would like to lead you in the direction that's
Right.
right for me, I'm not really considering
mm,
you, but he's so sweet and nice about it
Mhm.
that I think for us women, it's easy to miss.
mm, good.
100%.
So
100%.
good.
And he sort of robbed her of her freedom, right? I mean, I think this is why when she had that moment, she was able to be freely herself. And which highlighted how much she wasn't free in her relationship with this nice guy, nerdy guy who really wanted to control her, but also came from judgment a lot of times. I felt that he had a lot of really strong judgments around who she was and who she wanted to be. And
Mhm.
again, like you said, kept her very small.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other question I was going to ask had to do with the other character, John. John is his real name, right? Like, or was that his name on the show? That was his name on
It's
the
his
show,
name on the
John.
show. I don't know his name in real life,
Okay.
but I know he's a
Trying to keep
fantastic
all their
theater
names straight.
performer. Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
he's in theater too. He's a
Yeah.
theater guy. Yeah. So, and I believe he's a singer too. So I think
Hmm.
he's going to get to do something with that. But, they kind of did. And I had asked Ozzy this last week. We talked about his desire for Hannah, right? Like he was all of a sudden like, eyes wide open to her as well, kind of around the same time that Garrett was, really. And so they started to show.
No.
Do you think it was
No.
before?
Yes, he started liking
Yes.
her the summer that he fixed her Blueberoo.
Oh, Blueberry.
That's right.
He always
Love
knew
it.
who she
Love it.
was. He'd had a crush on her
That's
for years.
right. That's
Hmm.
right. Great
Yeah.
point. So that was actually what I was going to ask is it felt like that kind of just dissipated as the show went on. Like he kind of then was allowing them to be what they were, and they still would show little glimpses of him, the little, well, why am I not with her? Or, a little bit of that. But I felt like they kind of steered away from that. Do you think they're going to bring that around at some point? Or do you think he's like, no, this is like my brother. Like I would never do that.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
mean,
think?
I think that he was concerned for Hannah because he cared about
Mhm.
her deeply and he did want her to see, like, I'm here for you, I care for you. But the more he witnessed their dynamic, the more he saw it was real. And he fought it
Yeah.
for a bit, but he was just like, that's my brother and I want her to be happy. John Logan in the next season is about to have a fantastic love story with a new character.
Mm. Yep. Yep. And then he'll be the season after that, it'll be all
Yeah,
about him, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I loved the chemistry in this and Ozzy and I talked about that. Like you really felt it. Like with Allie and Dean, like you felt that. Like I was like, ooh, I wonder what's going on there. And I've been watching kind of behind the scenes to see who's kind of been with who. And like Garrett has a beautiful girlfriend that he's had for years. And so that's a very solid thing. Now I did kind of hear rumor that Allie and I can't we couldn't think of this last time. I should have looked it up. The singer's name, the one that she did want initially. Do you remember his name?
Um, are you talking about Allie or are you talking about Hannah?
So Hannah's
Allie.
crush that
Oh,
she
I'm
had.
sorry.
She's talking
Yes,
about
Hannah.
Hannah's
Yeah.
crush.
Is his name
Yeah, the
I
Luke?
said
I can
musician.
never remember.
Luke, they didn't say his name too often, I don't feel like the other ones were more prevalent, but, okay, we'll find we'll find that. But anyways, I heard that Allie and him are off screen now together, which is interesting. So I know, and
Oh,
he's
the
hot
tea.
too. He's great, the
See,
T.
he's my least favorite character
I agree.
Why?
I did not enjoy him either.
because I
I just like
used to
looking at him.
date him.
You're like,
That
"I
was
know
my
what that
type,
is like."
and I know how it turns out. But
Mm,
this g again, you're dealing with the guy who's so into himself, he can't even realize there's a cute girl stumbling in front of him
mhm.
until someone else who's more important than him
Likes
wants
him.
her, and now he's
Mhm.
all
Yes.
interested, and his behavior isn't great. I like him the most after he steals her song, which is not okay,
Yes.
and then she's
Yeah.
like she confronts him, and I liked him the best in that confrontation where he was like, "Girl, get
Yeah.
it together. These aren't your lyrics. Write from you." And that was
Yes.
my favorite version of him, but
So great.
otherwise, I thought he was pretty mediocre.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. I liked looking at him personally.
He's not
That's all I'm
coming
gonna
back.
say.
He won't be back.
He won't be back. There's no reason to bring him
I'm
back.
not
And I don't know.
upset. I'm not upset about that. I First of all, I didn't find his act. I wasn't drawn to him. I did
Mhm.
not find his acting very compelling or very like he didn't pull me. Not no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe they'll
Bye,
introduce
Felicia.
some new I'm not chasing you. So so because we found this chemistry, like it was just, so prevalent in the show. Do you think that women often confuse this chemistry with compatibility? I know we talk about this all the time. I
Mhm.
believe that we totally do. I do that, or I used to
Mhm.
do that. I'm going to say I don't anymore. But how do you know the difference? Just to kind of give the listeners a little take on that. How do they know the difference between the chemistry and compatibility, in your
I'm really
opinion?
proud of this show and the way that they navigated chemistry because actually we see what we would consider typical chemistry, I believe, would be what the girl who's been sleeping with Garrett feels for Garrett. She
Oh,
feels like we
in the
sleep
beginning.
together, we're really hot. We've been sleeping together a while and he doesn't do that. And the Puck Bunny girl who's
Mhm.
super beautiful, great
Mhm.
body, they're having great sex. I think they have the chemistry that we're consistently mistaking for chemistry. And he's
Yeah.
clear on that doesn't mean that I'm going to be with you. So for him,
Mhm.
that physical chemistry is not the same thing as emotional chemistry.
Yeah.
Whereas she's believing the chemistry. We really like each other. We do really well together.
Right.
I have this chemical reaction to you. So why don't you
Mhm.
see it? She has that
Yeah.
chemistry with him. Now, with Garrett and Hannah, it's not initial first chemistry.
Mm-mm.
It's go away, jock boy. I do not care about you. And he doesn't really care about her either until he sees her heart in singing on her Instagram.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
they are building a bond slowly over time through this shared interest that they
Mhm.
have. This is like one of the most refreshing takes on the nerdy girl helps the jock boy that I've seen in quite a long time because he's already
Mhm.
smart. He already has memorized all of this work. He just wants a little extra support and is interested in helping this girl, and he actually cares. And
Yes.
it's the same thing with Allie and Dean. It wasn't initial, it wasn't a first spark, it was a conversation around a fireplace where they saw each other as human beings, not just, "Oh, you're
Yeah.
hot, I would fuck you." So,
Yeah.
that's the difference. It's not, "We're hot and we're fucking, and now why isn't it working? I don't understand." It's
Yeah.
now, "Wait, you just shared something really vulnerable. Now you've shared something vulnerable." And then we watch these men do the opposite of what we've been used to seeing in film. The amount of
Mm.
times I braced thinking something else was gonna happen, and then they
Yeah.
handled it beautifully.
Yeah.
Like, a great example is Garrett learning about Hannah's sexual assault. In every
Yes.
film, the guy gets so angry, he punches the wall. He's like, Who is he?" And he goes
Mhm.
full, testosterone mode. Garrett held space.
Mhm.
Garrett
Mm.
kept his calm. Garrett didn't feel like someone violated his property. Garrett
Yeah.
felt Hannah in that moment. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
the chemistry that we're loving on this show is people actually caring about each other as people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, because we wanna get back to that
Yeah.
so bad, right? We see it and we love it. Did you feel like that whole situation was well, obviously, you thought that part was handled well, but the way we were talking about how her, remember her phone call with her mom after when she was like, "I'm so sorry, mom, I've ruined everything for you. You've spent all this money on me." And we were saying, like, that was so beautifully done as parents. Ozzy and I are both parents, seeing our child and her just saying, "What did you do? What did you do?" Right? And that was just such a moment, just that one little question because it made her stop and go, "Yeah, what did I do? I mean, I was 15. I'm just at a party. Somebody roofied my drink." And she did come out and she got ostracized for it, but her mom was just like, "What did you do?" Did you feel like as well as much as we did because we're coming from a parent situation, did you feel that too like, "Way to go, mom. She handled that well."
Oh, God. My husband and I were on the couch together and he's about to be 40. I'm about to be 36. So we're not the kid age, but we're not the
That
adult age with the adult kid. And we were
yeah.
just sitting there like slow clap for mom. My husband had tears in his eyes. I loved when
Yeah.
she was like, "Okay, what'd you do?" And she
Yeah.
kept like A plus parenting. She let her own daughter work herself to the answer while holding space with
Yeah.
love. God, that was
Mhm.
Ah,
beautiful.
So
it
beautiful.
was, right? It was so well done. I thought they just
Mhm.
really hit the nail on the head with that one, which I thought was
Oh,
great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Did
because
you feel
as parents, we do tend to step in and try to fix, right? Or try to get in
Mhm,
front of someone's problem. But the fact that they can show a parent just, you know, matter of fact, just sort of
yeah,
bring Hannah to a place where she can get to get through, right? Get through that answer on her own or that question on her own or whatever she was sorting through
yeah,
and just pause, right? It really gave a really great pause for me as a parent too, because I often tend to err on either too much fixing and trying to be in front of and coaching, and also
mhm,
or just really giving them the space and giving them the the ability to just figure it out on their own, right? But
Yeah,
it was just done in such a beautiful way. It was very inspiring, is what
it
all
was.
I'm trying to
It
say.
was.
Yeah.
I love that. And so we had a few moments where Ozzy and I were like, "What?" Like seemed like red flags in there. And some of it we kind of just talked about there about where we're excusing behavior because there is that chemistry. We do that a lot, right? We're like, well, we don't realize that this is actually an unhealthy relationship. And I guess you could see that with the singer that Hannah was really into. All she's seeing is, how cute he is and he's the lead of this band, and she's not seeing the behavior like you just mentioned, how he had zero interest in her until some other guy does. Was there any like red flags that really stood out for you in the show that you saw?
Obviously that piece, but not
Yeah.
a lot is coming to mind right now because I think watching it from I'm just a girl lens and I saw people
Mhm.
Mhm.
making mistakes in relationship that were human, but I didn't see like
Mhm.
giant red flags. Sure, like some yellows and some orange flags. But I saw 22-year-olds navigating love better than 35-year-olds and 40-year-olds and
True.
50-year-olds do right
Right?
now. So I was just proud. I will say there is something weird about the guy Allie meets at the bar when she's with the drama actress.
Yes,
Mhm. Mhm.
yes,
This
yes.
is a weird dynamic. What is her name again? The actress she's so in love with?
Um, oh gosh. I know exactly what you're talking about. Her name is I'll bleep that in when I figure it out.
This famous theater actress that she looks up to so much takes her to a place where her brother's best friend's number one enemy walks in the room and encourages
Yes.
her to go be with him without us having any awareness that she even would know who he is. And we still don't know if she knows who he is. But when you
Yeah.
think about the lineage, we still don't even know what that guy has done. But we do know it has to do with Dean's sister. We do know that Dean is
Mhm.
very upset at this man. And we know
Mhm.
that now Dean's best friend's sister put the woman Dean is falling for in the same room with this guy and encouraged her to hook up with him. This
Yep.
is weird.
This
Mm.
is weird. This
Can
is
you
weird.
tell us more about weird?
Yeah. Well, there's no evidence in which we actually know that this actress knew who this was, but it feels a little malicious to me. And I don't know
Mm.
why. And maybe it's not. But I don't think there's a world in which somebody whose little brother is best friends with someone doesn't know some of the lore of where they come from. And she's
Yeah.
about his sister's age, maybe, I think. And it seems like everyone back from wherever they come from knows what happened between
Mhm.
Dean and
But
this other guy that he does not want skating with them.
Mhm.
yeah.
So why did the sister say, that guy over there, that guy over there, that come on, go
Yeah.
hook up with him, go kiss him, go. And she really pushed Allie when Allie was saying, no, I shouldn't. No, I don't want
Yeah.
to. No, it's not. She's like, do it, do it, do it. You have the story. He's so hot. She was really pushing her onto somebody else. And the
Yeah.
only person who knew that Allie was hooking up with Dean was that actress's younger brother. So there's just
Mm.
an interesting connection here.
Mhm. Is it
Yeah.
weird from the lens of the audience, or was it just weird for you because it felt manipulative and a bit
There's a potential in which it was planted, and I don't
Mhm.
know
Yeah.
why. There's a potential in which the sister was doing it on purpose,
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah,
but
we'll
I
have to
don't
see
know
how
if
that
that's
unfolds.
true. Yeah,
Mhm.
they're all from the same town. They all know each
Mhm.
Yeah.
other. They all know the lore of what's happened. So,
Yeah.
it was just an interesting thing. I didn't like, and every time Allie looked back at the actress sitting on the couch, she's like, "Do it." She's like
Yes.
really pushing it.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
would you have
Mm.
even liked that if she didn't know the story behind any of them? Like just a friend, it seemed a little bit aggressive. Like her friend just, yeah, go up there and just make out with him. And I was thinking, oh, we
Well,
don't
they're
even know
not
this guy.
friends. They're not
Yeah,
friends. They don't
they're
even know each
not.
other. She
And so
just knows
why
that
would she take that from
this
her?
young actress looks up to her.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. There's just
Mhm.
something that doesn't feel totally authentic about that.
Yeah.
And there's something to me that also doesn't feel authentic about the character Jules. And I don't know
Hmm.
why. I'm not sure how that's going to unfold, but something about her isn't sitting well with me. And I actually don't
Hmm.
know why yet. I haven't been able to figure it out.
Mm.
Yeah, I hear you because I kind of felt that too. There was just something off about her. Like I couldn't figure out her place in everything. She was just kind of there. A lot of the recording, she was always there with like an answer for people. And it just felt like, where are they going with that storyline with her? Because I don't feel like they were really building a character of her. I walk away going, I don't even know anything about her. Maybe they wanted it that way. Maybe they wanted it to bring it out down the road, or maybe she's just not an important character in the story that we're even going to learn about.
And she's the gossip of the school, but maybe it's the
Yeah.
character, like the casting choice that I'm not quite resonating with who the
Yep.
character is,
Mhm,
perhaps.
mhm.
But even this, like, she's really, really determined to stay this like underfed, undercut. We're poor. We're the poor
Mhm.
family with mentally ill parents, and you have to just make sure that you stay that way. And she's stealing the
Yeah.
marshmallows when that beautiful roommate that I don't remember his name, but he's cooking for everyone and being so
Yes.
gorgeous. And she's making his
Yes.
life harder. She's making John's life harder. She's making everyone's life harder because she's like, you guys have to remember we're poor. And I just don't resonate with that energy.
Yes.
Mm, mm,
Why
mm, mm.
we wanna
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that, and again, I think what makes for a good show is that sometimes it leaves a lot unsaid. So I am
Mhm.
wondering and curious and excited for next season to see if they develop this character a little bit better, or maybe just connect the dots for us, because I think there
Mhm.
is a lot of missing missing things. And again, anytime you leave a show with missing links, oftentimes you want to come back to the next season to see if those things will be merged, right? I did
Yeah.
not read the book series, so I don't know what
Me
happens.
neither.
And I would be, my friend who did read the whole series. I'm curious if she has an
Sure, she
insight to
might
that.
already
So
know.
I'll
Yeah.
find out for us. Or I'll
Yeah.
just keep the mystery.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that they'll probably get feedback from a lot of people that we were unclear about this character, so they'll probably sharpen her for us. But I do wonder if it was just the actress choice that has kind of
Mm,
thrown me. She feels like a
Mhm.
again, it's this weird thing that keeps coming up for me with the show is she feels very Gen Z with all of these
Yeah.
millennials, and it doesn't mesh together as
Yeah.
fluidly as I would have liked it to.
got it. Okay, I could see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That makes
I could
sense, that
see
makes
that.
sense. So I wanna touch
Those Gen
base on all of
Zs.
my yes, those Gen Zs. I wanna touch base on my favorite part of all of it were these steamy sex scenes, because I was mouth open like, "Oh my god, like, what is going on here?" And I love a good sex scene, and it's I don't know if I'm still slightly shocked at how much they put on TV these days. Like, there's no limits, right? Like, it seems like because 'cause I'm pretty sure wait, didn't we see penises in this? We did, right?
It was
In the
in the
locker room.
locker room.
Yes, and I guess that I
I paused
often
the
think of that
TV.
yeah.
Did you? I love it.
It reminds me of that show. There was a show a few years back, and I think it was Sex Something, and they had this guy on there, and he was in the shower scene. He turned around, and it was like, it kind of flopped out. It was very large, and that was like a big to do because I think they didn't know if it was a prosthetic or not. But in this one, it threw me off because I find it interesting how we see that on the man, and not that I want to see it on a woman, but they never showed the bottom half of a woman, right? We see their boobs, and they showed that early too with Allie for whatever reason. Just showed her taking off her top, and she turns back around to say something to her friend, and her boobs were out. I don't know
And
where they were going.
the girl Garrett was
Yes,
having
was
sex
with
with
in the
full
bed,
naked.
full naked, and I was thrown a little bit by that because it was very early on in the show, and I was like, huh. I don't know. Do you think that was necessary to help create and establish these characters, or was it just like, let's get some attention here on this?
I think there's an interesting balance I'm feeling about this where I'm a woman who would definitely say, like, I've been in the industry a long time. I was an actress for 20 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I know this side stuff that goes on. And so I'm the first person to say most of it can be implied. It's
Mhm.
not necessary. And in this world, there's so much nudity on TV that it's almost like the show was working to keep up with the current structure, but still trying to keep it
Mhm.
classy. And I do think they nailed it. Like, I didn't feel like some of the nudity was overtly sexual. I felt
Mhm.
like it was more beautiful. So I feel like they did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what did you think about the actual sex scenes that were happening with okay, for Dean and Allie, I mean, those were some pretty intense, sex scenes. Do you think that this is what I don't know, I didn't go to college, but is this how it is or how is that college? Is that real?
I don't
That
think so.
No, it's not. And let me
No.
tell you, I'm so grateful because these men know what they're doing.
Mhm,
These men
mhm.
are like, woo, but whatever
Oh,
the cast collectively agreed that this let me pull on the loop in your pants to bring you
yeah.
close to me.
Oh,
I
Yes.
am
dang.
grateful because I think that this show is to exhibit healthy masculinity. I think
Mhm.
that's really
Yeah,
what the show is about.
yeah.
Grateful. And so even the way that they are making love to these women feels
Mm,
like healthy masculinity that has that bit of
Mhm.
darkness that's controlled. It's not,
yeah.
jamming away and pounding away like a lot of college
Yes.
kids are doing.
Right.
And
That's how
it's
it still
not,
is.
it's this like artful artistry. Like this was sex written by a woman, and I'm so
Yeah.
grateful.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it
It
was.
felt good, it felt safe, it wasn't tasteless.
Mhm,
But I wanna go back to what you said about it. It's interesting because I hadn't even thought of it, Taylor. I'm curious what you think about the idea that they have no issues showing a man's penis, but they don't show a woman's vagina on TV. Why is that? I'm curious if
Hmm.
you might have a thought on that, because
It is
I think you
interesting because I feel like it's still pretty new that we're showing penises on TV. I think breasts and
mhm.
bums have been shown for a while. Penises feel
Breasts and
relative
bums, that sounds like a
breasts and
bar.
bums. Penises feel newer. I wonder if it's a little bit of
ish.
that corrective yeah, ish, corrective experience of we've been, like, using and sexualizing women's bodies for so long. Let's
Mhm.
balance it out a little bit, whereas I think, like, a vulva, I think a vagina is really, really personal and really
Sacred.
intimate.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and sacred, and I think the film industry is still trying to respect that bit
Okay.
as much as, they can. I have seen, like, pubic mounds and such more lately, which is done
Mhm.
beautifully, but I really see that in all the ways that we can be tasteless and disrespectful in this industry,
Mhm.
they've really respected the pussy.
Mhm. Yeah, and I agree with that because, it is a very personal and intimate thing, and if you think even about the way we talk so freely about, "Suck my dick," or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we never talk about,
Mhm.
like, pussy or anything like that, right? Like, we just don't. It's
Mhm.
not this vulgar thing that we kind of say. I don't really recall walking around saying that very often,
Well, men call each
you
other
know?
pussies, right? Like, "Oh, you're such a little
Yeah,
pussy."
pussy, but
Um
yeah, I don't know
We're
that I feel it's
rewiring
the
our
same.
relationship with pussy right now. Like, I think
Yeah.
for a long time it was this dirty, shameful,
Mhm.
gross thing,
Mhm.
and now we're really working towards making it this beautiful center of life and pleasure, and we're not all the way there yet. We're still in this in
Yeah.
between, but the pussy has always been taboo. So, from that
Yeah.
lens, it also makes sense that we're not even ready to
To
show
see
that
it.
on TV yet.
Mhm.
You're right. We're
Not in
not
a
ready.
tasteful way. But
Yeah.
I will say that, because here's the thing, I work with a lot of couples, and one of the exercises that I often will give when we're in the intimate um arena, one of the homeworks I do give them is pussy worship and also dick worship, right? So, like,
Mhm.
why can't we make the penis, I know I sound so penis. Why can't we make that sacred as well? Like, I almost wonder if, do we need to see it in
Yeah.
on film? Can we start to, again, as we're evolving our ideas and our knowing about masculinity, can we make it more sacred? Can we just keep that as a sacred, intimate, private um, part for both humans, right? Men and women.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I just kind of
And
feel
can you
like,
go back? Mhm.
Mhm.
right? Because I think we kind of veer towards a world in which now we're vilifying men and we're making men, just objectifying, or
Mhm.
obviously we've kind of swung the other way completely. Whereas that's where women were for a very long
Mhm.
time and still are. Now we're
Yeah.
swinging the other way, and
Mhm.
can we honor both? And so while we're showing, and again, I'm also very grateful it was written by a woman, and that there's
Mhm.
a nice respect for the healthy masculine, because that's something that I've been teaching for a very long time, and I'm happy. Was happy to see it and written in this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that of wanting to make that sacred too. I guess it just depends on the lens of perception that we're viewing it from. Because I think about,
Mm.
I have a friend who's a nudist, and he gets very offended around like the over sexualization of the human body in general. So
Uh-huh.
it's like, is the penis being used to
Mm.
have sex in these scenes, or is it just men walking around the locker room, and why are we choosing to sexualize it? But it just
Yeah.
really depends on your view and your lens of the world.
True.
It like that penis shot felt like a shock factor, but it didn't feel
Yes.
sexualized, and so that felt
Mhm.
very feminine in nature, that, like, a woman would create it that way rather than something vulgar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did feel like a little bit of a shock moment. And also I remember
Not to
thinking
me.
yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Bring it on.
Listen, bring it on, okay? Bring it on.
But I remember thinking that I found it odd that she walked into that locker room and there were multiple men in there that were nude, and none of them were like, "Oh my god, there's a woman in here." They were all just like free balling. They didn't care. I found that
Yeah.
interesting,
Well, I
you
found it
know?
really interesting that many of them were uncircumcised and were in America, and I was like, "Oh, we have hot
You
dogs
must
for
have
bacon."
paused those things to find that, girl.
You have some
I
extra
didn't, I
skin.
don't have to pause. I'm like,
She can
"Da-da-da-da-da."
scan real quick. And you are, and you are, and you are not. Oh,
Yep.
that's awesome. So, speaking of pleasure and penises and vulva and vagina and everything, what did you think about the? I don't know if I just call it the double masturbation scene of the two of them,
Ugh.
Hannah and Garrett. I told Ozzy, I'm like, I have not seen this before on TV. Like, and especially you, you're like, so you gotta watch her on YouTube. She's so flustered right now with heat. But right, that was a hot scene, and I thought it was very tasteful.
Mhm.
Did you agree?
I have never seen anything like that on television, and
Right?
for as much as these scenes made me gasp, this one had me like, can we rewind it? I'm sorry, I have to reprocess this information, and the eye contact, the deep respect for each other, the fact that
Mhm.
they were
Yes.
still technically friends, the fact that he gave her all
Mm-hmm.
the power but said, "You're not alone, I'll join you." The I yeah, flustered is the
Yeah.
word. I'm impressed.
Right? I
Impressed.
was too.
But
I was doing work and I was like, I mean, my glasses went down and I'm like, "Whoa," and I could not stop watching, I'll tell you that.
yeah,
That was hot.
definitely panty wedding. But I do but Andrea and I were talking about the reality of this. We talked about what it takes for two people that are friends to get
Mhm.
there, right? What
Mm.
the amount of trust that it would take, especially for a woman who's been sexually assaulted,
Abused. Yeah.
violated, to be able to get there with someone, the amount of trust that needs to build, right? Because trust is just not something you pass
Yeah.
out,
And he's
something
a new
that's built.
friend.
He's a new friend, and she
He's a new
also knows
friend.
his history. The
Yes.
reality of that happening, and while I am really good at suspending belief, there was a moment where it was like, okay,
Is
the
that
reality of
could
all
that really
that. So
happen?
while I love that it happened, I'm wondering in the sequence but at what point when it happened, did they have enough build trust with each other? And
Who cares? It was hot. I'm just kidding.
it was hot, but that's where my
No.
brain went.
No. I hear you, Taylor.
It's a great observation. I mean, I think even for me, when I think back on my sexual adventures, I don't know that I've ever gotten there with somebody, although I'm sure I have been there with someone.
Mhm.
That is just such a to be face to face, also not side by
Yes.
side. I think that that's the part. But it takes me to the moment at the karaoke bar when he's like, "Would you like to drink tonight?" And she's like, "Well, I
Yeah.
don't." He's like, "I know you don't, but would you like to? Let's solve this problem together. I'll watch your drinks with my life and I will take care of Allie." And he goes,
Mm.
"Do you trust me?" And she goes, "Yeah, I do." And she said it like, "I've thought
Mm.
about it. And yeah, I actually really trust you." And
Mm.
I think that that night gained so much trust between them because she came home ready to have sex. He said, "This is not in alignment. You are
Mhm.
intoxicated. You will
Mhm.
not remember. Let me get you in bed and sleep next to you."
Mhm.
Mm.
And I think that that night changed the way that she felt about him in a lot of ways, but trust and respect, that
Mm,
brought their friendship to the next level
Mhm.
of, "Oh, wow, this friendship, no matter what it becomes, is growing both of us, and so I'm willing to grow in that direction with you."
Mhm.
mm. So
Yeah,
good.
good
Was
point.
so good. So, my last thing to ask you ladies, if Hannah walked into this studio with us right now and she asked each
Ooh.
of us for some advice before she makes any decisions on anything, what would be, Taylor, I'm going to ask you first, what would be the best piece of advice you could give her? And this could be at any spot within the show. It doesn't have to be at the end or the beginning. What advice would you give to her?
The biggest thing that stands out to me for Hannah, I mean, I think she did a great job being a girl, falling in love and
Mhm.
navigating all the things she was
Mhm.
navigating, but there's one moment that I would love to coach Hannah on, and that is that no matter how you felt, that was one of the most important hockey games of his college career.
Right.
And you
Should
actively
have been there.
chose to be selfish, and it's
Mhm.
okay to be selfish. She did have something to do. She didn't communicate with him. He's calling, he doesn't know where she is. He's all over the
Yeah.
place. And then she showed up and it was like, "Sorry, got distracted." Didn't tell him why, was not honest with him. And so I would say you get to be more in integrity with the relationship you say that you want. If you would like
Mhm.
for him to show up fully authentic, fully present with you get to show up in the same way for him. That day was not about you. And there was a lot going on. But if you chose to let the trauma of that day impact you, you get to tell him before the hockey game, not after in the middle of it, because you have a hand in what happened just as much as he did.
Mm,
Mm.
such a great point. I actually remember thinking something similar to that. Like, why is the focus so much on her and what she's going through? This is uber important to him. And he's having to stop what he's doing to keep calling her and calling her. And he's making that effort to be like, he was getting more worried about her at this point, than she was with him. So it's such a great point. And to the listeners out there, like, yeah, show up authentically and show the integrity for both sides as you would want to be treated. And I agree. Like what happened, she escalated a lot of that ended up happening when he's like flipping out, he had so
Mhm,
much on his plate, including the
mhm.
issues with his dad.
And he didn't even
So
yell at her. So again, there's that
I
corrective
know.
experience. We expected him to flip out and he was like, "Okay, as long as you're safe." Like that was his
Yeah.
reaction, so he deserved more truth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I agree. That's wild. Ozzy, do you have any
Yeah.
advice for little Hannah?
Well, I agree with Taylor because I think that she really navigated this as a girl would, a college girl would,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that she, did the best that she could with what she had. I would probably work with her on some nervous system regulation. I would probably support her in um, maybe going back to the experience of what it was like to be violated, to reshuffle that in her subconscious and be able to get to a place of acceptance, also a place of healing, so that she
Mm-hmm.
can get to a place of being truthful about where she was at, and share that, reveal that with Garrett when
Yeah.
it does come to it. And I agree with you. That scene was kind of strange for me. It felt off, sort of off character to her,
Yeah.
where she, because I think she really does care for him, but she was operating from the lens of a lot of self-centeredness in a few spots, I thought, but I also think
Mm-hmm.
that comes from a protective part of her, right? The part of
Mm-hmm.
her that needed to protect, the part of her that's been violated, and this big distrust that she might have with men, and not only men. I just think she was also, remember, she was also attacked by her whole town, her
Yeah.
whole family. Had to be. It was so violating in so many ways. There's so many ruptures there for her that never got repaired. So I would work with her on the repair aspect so that she can have a healthier relationship moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I was my part I would probably tell her I was thinking about her going for the lead singer, Justin. Justin, as I say, there it is. There it is. Again, just something I'd mentioned before to pay attention to the actions and not just the story she's telling herself or the potential she's seeing, right? Because potential is not going to build those healthy relationships. So I would tell her to just open your eyes. I tell all the listeners out there, open your eyes and pay attention to the actions rather than the potential. So
Mhm.
I think we gave her some great advice, y'all. I think
Yes,
that was good.
and I think there's something to be said about actually experiencing some of these messy moments, right? Like
Hmm.
we're going to err, we're human, and I think that's where we learn and grow the most. And I think she did that beautifully. So
Yeah.
I think her stumbling and having to figure it out on her own was so beautifully portrayed because it just showed that she's human, and I
Yeah.
think that's what makes the show so compelling. You just feel the
Hmm.
humanness in all of them, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
love their
That's
mistakes.
mhm.
I love their mistakes because I think we either go to every extreme, like, "Oh, they're so perfect," or "They're so bad," and we're not really showing the humanness in the in-between in
Mm.
cinema right now, and I think that's why,
They did
the
that
show
well.
wasn't just about hot relationships and hot people, though we love to watch. It was also about friendship and being really great friends with each other. It was about healthy masculinity and men really
Mm.
supporting each other, and
Mhm.
even their locker
Hmm.
room talk was respectful. It was about getting to know people truly and actually adoring the other sex rather than judging them. I mean,
Hmm.
it was
Mm.
about fighting for what you like and putting yourself first, even when it's hard, but also caring for others. It was about honoring everyone's strengths and not just focusing on their weaknesses. I mean, the show did
Mm.
a great job of giving us the exact experience that we're craving and that we're missing right now. And I hope that people
Yes.
will watch it and will see more than just hot sex, but see truly genuine people who care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Let
So
let
well
the sex
said.
pull you in, but then really pay
But then
attention,
really
right?
focus and
Correct.
watch. Yes.
Have you
Oh,
seen the movie Hamnet?
I have not
I
seen that
didn't watch
yet.
it yet.
Okay, Taylor, you have to see it. I just think you're going
So
to
good.
have an experience. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm,
Okay.
interesting, interesting.
There
I do
anyway.
I I do remember something about those 2, the actor and the actresses who are just phenomenal, that they really felt like they were in this relationship together, and you could see that just from I saw it just from the clips, but we're
Please
digressing
watch
there.
it. There's so
Yeah.
much beautiful, like, just history about masculine and feminine, but also the messiness of the feminine, and it's just a stunning piece of art. I don't know. We
Mhm.
my friends and I left the theater. Actually, we didn't leave quite fast. We stayed after everyone else left and wept. Just wept. You
Mm.
just feel seen in so many different ways. Anyway, please,
Mm.
I
I just hitched
encourage
on
you
that.
to
Love it. So before
divulge.
we go, let's just do a quick, like, first that comes to mind. Tell me your favorite character, your favorite scene, and who you would love to see more of down the road. Who wants to
I
go?
mean, I think my favorite character is John Logan, just because also
Mhm.
he's my husband archetype. He's very Virgo in nature. This is the type of man I married, so I just love him. My favorite scene was probably the karaoke scene and seeing her just
Mm,
be so in her element and in her body. It was so cute, and everyone was honoring her in that moment.
yeah.
And what I would like to see more?
Who you'd like to see more
Who
of.
I'd like to I mean, I just wanna see Dean and Allie get it on more, honestly.
It's coming, it's
'Cause wow.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot, it's
Yeah,
hot.
yeah, 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 yeah.
What about you, Ozzy? Favorite character, favorite scene, who you wanna
Also,
see more of?
John, I really, really was drawn to him. Favorite scene was the scene at the window with Dean and Allie.
Mhm.
And who I would like to see more of, I think, yeah, all of them. I think
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
them. I'm curious just to see how every one of them develops.
Plays out, plays out.
Mhm.
I loved my favorite character was probably Garrett. I just loved the growth that he went through in the show, from beginning to end, and my favorite scene was the double masturbation because I had not seen that before, and I want to see that again. And see more of is me as well, Allie and Dean. There was just something that
Mhm.
this spark, it was just different, and it was believable. Like, if they told me off camera that they were together, I'd be like, "Of course they are." You felt it. You really felt it. So,
Yes.
Mm.
oh my god, so, so good. I love conversations like this because they're never really actually about the TV show, right? They're about us and how we see ourselves in these stories, and sometimes they help us to recognize, like, patterns we didn't even know we had, all of these things that we're seeing through a different lens. So I love that. Taylor, thank you so much, my dear, for bringing your perspective today. I always leave these conversations with you thinking just a little bit differently, and I know our listeners do too. So thank you for your insight. You're such a beautiful, beautiful person inside and out. So And Ozzy,
Yeah.
my girl, I love you. Thank you for joining as well. Yes, ma'am. And to
Or
the
as
listeners out there,
the Gen Zers do this because they're
what
too
is
lazy.
that?
That's a heart, and it's
Oh,
too much to do this for them. So this is what they do now.
really? Oh, such a lazy world. All right. If you watched Off Campus, we want to hear from you. What did you love? You can answer those 3 questions. Who was your favorite person? Your favorite scene? Who do you want to see more of? We'd love to hear from you in the comments. This whole video will be out on YouTube for you to see. You can email me at from Mrs. to Ms. podcast at gmail.com. I'll have Taylor and Ozzy's info in the show notes for you guys to reach out to them as you wish. Thank you, ladies. I will see everybody next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.